Hey guys, it's Chelsea from the Smart Cookie Files, and today I have a brand new video for you guys. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison discussion about the movie Dune. The two versions of it, from the one from 1984, the original, and the new one they just made in 2021 with Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. Alright, let's get into it. So, I read the book after I first saw the 1984 version of Dune. I didn't know it was even a book. My father, who knows I'm a huge bookish person, never mentioned that it was a book. So, I guess he never knew it was a book. Because they never did that type of stuff to advertise movies, I guess, back in the day. But the original version was done in 1984. It is science fiction, so it does, when you watch it, it comes across a lot like the show Star Trek. I've never watched the show Star Trek in its entirety, but I do am familiar with it and how it looks and how it kind of, and even the older Star Wars movies where they just had that look about them that you knew it was a science fiction movie, but the technology was not all there to make it look super futuristic like it is now. The difference to me with the two was that the portrayal of it, of the book. The 1984 version portrays the entire book series in one movie, and because apparently that's why the movie ends in the new remake. It ends basically at the battle, because the next book shows the battle, etc. And there's apparently, I think, 5 or 6 books in the entire series of Dune. But to me, I really struggled to read the book, which is very strange for me because I love big books. I cannot lie about that. And I love reading them because it's such a challenge, but it's like the perfect amount of challenge. But with the Dune book, the thing was, it was like too much in detail that it's almost like it's lost in translation. Like you're reading one thing and then it's like, here's another thing, and then they have the secret language and all that, which was definitely worked into the new remake very well. And I felt that the portrayal of that aspect of it was very well done, as well as obviously the movie looked more futuristic, more realistic to what it could have possibly looked like compared to the 1984 version of Dune. The difference to me was that, first of all, in the 1984 version, Paul Atriedes was played, I actually don't have the name of the guy who played Paul Atriedes. I'll put it in the description box though. He just looked like, if I could describe him in any way, he looked like a Michael Bolton type guy, because that was what was popular in that time period and what was most attractive. So that's who they made the lead character to like appear as. But the lead character of Paul Atriedes is supposed to be a boy that he just turned 18, and then it's like he is learning how to step into his role as the Duke's son. But then there's also his other side of his backstory, which is that he is a witch's son. And they are skilled in the weirding way, which is kind of that you use your third eye or your intuition to harness your own power, which is popular nowadays because of TikTok bringing back tarot readers and the twin flame narrative and manifesting and creating your reality, things that spirituality talk about. That is what the new one, I would say more so, was honed in on. Whereas the 1984 version shows Paul Atriedes, and to me, he appears like a man, a young man that is becoming more of a man in order to step into the role that he needs to. And I wouldn't mess with the Paul Atriedes in the 1984 version, whereas Timothy Chalamet, he is an excellent actor. I knew it when I first watched Little Women. Like, I just thought that he was great. He is a very handsome young man. There's no denying that. But to me, in Dune, he came across as a scrawny little guy who was struggling. And then he also seemed to need one of these every 5 minutes. A panic button. Because he just couldn't handle all the pressure of being both the Duke's son and Jessica's son also, which Jessica was the main harlot and the concubine who gave the Duke his son, but she's a Bene Gesserit witch. And like I said, it uses third eye power to harness and create your own reality. Yeah, so anyway, the 1984 version also has Sting, which he is like the most attractive guy in that 1984 movie, because yes, the guy who played Paul Atriedes was cute, but Sting just had that sex appeal. But we already know that he is famous for that. That's why he's a rocker. But yeah, he brought that to the screen, and it was cool to see him in a movie. And when I first sat down and watched it, I didn't know he was in it. The other thing that the 1984 version has is that the story flows much more succinctly, whereas in the new remake there were some scenes I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be like. So I don't know, maybe I skipped that part of the book. I don't know how to describe that. The other thing that also was annoying about the original version of Dune versus the remake was that there's a character in the actual book called Peter DeVries with my last name, and in the 1984 version they actually had that character in there. In the new remake, he wasn't in there at all, and he was not important. He was completely wiped out of the script. So but he's a real character in the actual story, so if you do read the book, you will find a character with my last name in there. And honestly, that was like the coolest thing, because like my last name is so strange. I was mocked about it throughout grade school, and because it is Dutch, but it can also be pronounced different ways depending on the region that you're in. So it can be pronounced various ways, to be Greek, etc. Anyway, it is strange, and then to see your own name used in a book was just really cool. And then also in a movie, when it was done in the original movie. The other thing that was really used specifically in the 1984 version was the line, "The sleeper must awaken," and that is used in the book, and then also it was basically used throughout the movie in order to kind of convey the overall theme. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people say that Dune, it's science fiction, but it really echoes today's time. And it's funny that they decided to remake it almost as if to mirror the calamity that is our world today, with all the things going on, COVID, the political atmosphere, kind of how Hollywood is kind of very much changed, and a lot of things are easily figured out. There's a lot more conspiracy theories and just many things that are exposed now that were not known about society, about the larger issues in society that they are now. The one thing that was used in the remake was there's a part in the beginning of the Dune book that's on, I believe, page 11, and it's literally a whole paragraph where it says fear is the mind killer, and it says all about fear and what happens when you fear, which is, as I said, using spirituality to kind of realize the emotions you're feeling and then creating your reality to be what you want. So focusing more on positive emotions, putting out like your desires out to the world to create the reality that you desire to see in front of you. So fear being a mind killer means that fear kills all that you would hope to achieve or desire. And that is a main theme that is used in the remake, or the remake, the new one, with Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. And I really thought they did that very well, of utilizing that whole paragraph for the script and for building on the story. Whereas the original was done with the message conveying the sleeper must awaken. So I mean, if you watch both movies, there would be two main themes that you would gather. The sleeper must awaken, which can be interpreted any way that you desire, but it can mean that you finally see the light about truths in your own world, your own personal life, or your own in the society at large. Or the fear is the mind killer, meaning that when you let fear run your life, you put up a huge wall around and limit your own greatness and your own potential and the reality that you can create. So that's the two messages that both movies showcase. So I would definitely recommend that if you have not checked out the original version of Dune, do so. If you have the stamina to sit through the Dune book, do so. They also apparently have a graphic novel of Dune now, which probably would be easier to digest if you don't want to sit through 617 pages of literature that is very well written and very well done, but definitely can be overwhelming and a lot to digest because there's a lot of lingo and secret languages. Like I said, it even has in the back an appendix and all this that explains like about the planets. Like the author really went into deep detail about this stuff, and it's really, his world building was phenomenal because obviously they were able to create 2 movies from it. But yeah, so definitely if you have not checked out the new one, I would suggest it too. The only thing also that I didn't like about the new one is the music. It was a little bit creepy. Like it came across as a little bit of like horror movie music, or something that would be used to emulate that you're walking into a scene that's a little bit dangerous. And I would say that was used to create atmosphere, of course, because it is a huge responsibility that Paul Atriedes, the main character, is walking into and feeling and sensing and dealing with. But I don't know, the music creeped me out. Especially in the very beginning, there's like a really high-pitched sound, and it just bothered me. I actually watched the new one twice, and I watched the old one twice in order to do this video for you guys. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Dune. If you have additional thoughts that you'd like to share with me, or any additional suggestions that you have about content, like other movies that you want me to cover, leave them in the comments. And if you want to see more discussion videos about TV or movies, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Until next time, guys, feel free to express yourself. Bye, guys.